topic of discussion is going to be that college is not a scam. And please hear me out till the end before I ask my question, so it kind of makes sense. So I understand everything you say. You said college is a scam, and the issue is because there's a lot of student loans, there's people who drop out of college every year, there's a lot of people who can't find jobs, government's funding it, and why should taxpayers pay for it, right? I understand. It's a concern. It's valid. But at the same time, scam means fraud, and fraud is not what college is, because colleges don't promise guaranteed success. Colleges promise access to resources, which they do deliver. And it's up to the people to actually be accountable and use those resources correctly. But what happens a lot of times is that a lot of people don't use it correctly and fail. I do agree that there needs to be reforms.
Okay, college is bad and a scam. If you go for a study you don't want to study, for a degree you don't really want, and a degree you're not really going to use. But college is not a scam if you either enjoy the education, if you get a job with that education that you want to have, okay, or if you just want to go to school and get a degree in general. If you want to be able to improve society and have everyone understand the world more and be able to make better decisions as a people, then college is not a scam. It is a scam if you are doing all the bad things about college, or if you don't think at all, or if you just get like coerced to go to college or to not go to college. There are a lot of nuances here. I'm pretty sure like 40% of people regret their degrees. Maybe college was not the right decision for like a decent number of those people, but in general, college is not a scam.
I think especially the funding of colleges should be reformed, how the government funds may be limited, maybe more structured and with more oversight. But at the end of the day, colleges do provide a lot of value to the society. And also, people who do go to colleges, on average, statistically, earn higher income on average, have half the unemployment rate, and they have more opportunities. So my question to you is, are you denying the data?
Okay, so let's define a scam. What is a scam?
Well, I just defined it. Fraud, right?
Yes. So would you agree in a scam you force a customer to buy something against their will?
Here's the thing.
Yes or no? I let you talk. Yes or no?
Yes, but here...
Okay, how many of you have to take classes against your will that are wasting your time? Look around.
Hold on.
Look around.
But here's...
I let you talk. Look around.
Charlie, I'll be honest.
You haven't looked around yet.
Okay, so for being well-rounded with other classes, other than your main major, so if you do mathematics or engineering or nursing or business, it's good to have more than just one discipline. All right, you do not want to hire someone for a job who is only able to think about literally one thing, who has no other skills and no ability to talk about any type of diverse cultures or diverse topics or whatever else. It's better for a student to have a well-rounded education. It is better to have a well-rounded education. And the part of college you pay for is not going to be the 2 electives you take when you're an undergrad or when you're like a first year.
Classes myself.
Every hand is up. Hold on. You just agreed a scam would make people buy something against their will, and every hand went up in the audience saying they have to take classes against their will. You just now agreed, using Aristotelian logic, that that's a scam.
Hold on. Don't people choose to go to college?
And it's not against their will. All they ask is for a degree in these developing years in college, your first and second year. You take classes outside of your main discipline. They don't force you to take certain classes. They have different requirements to meet, but it's not certain classes. You still have choice as well, and you sign up to go to college. That is not you're not forced to do that.
Not always. That's a bit. Well, of course
people
they have the agency.
The right to go to college.
A lot are pressured by parents. Time out. Of course they have the agency to do that.
Like if you think there's one job in the world that only has to do with mathematics or engineering, that has no crossover, no interdiscipline to worry about, you are just like literally brain dead.
But there's a cultural expectation to get that piece of paper. Secondly, to your point about earning more money, do you know half of the kids in this audience, if they get a job, they'll get a job that does not require a college degree?
I've actually fact-checked your data.
It's from the Department of Education.
Okay, yeah, that's true. The reality is that's true only for entry-level roles. Later in the career, that's not the case. Average college graduate earns 80% higher income compared to high school graduate.
If they graduate.
Those numbers also include if you have a master's and you have a job that requires a 4-year degree, then you technically have a degree you don't need in that master's, even if you do a job associated with your other degree. Or if you do a job that's somewhat associated with your degree, or it's your degree maybe crossovers with another discipline or whatever else. But it will make you a more valued employee, or at least someone who's looking for an applicant for a job, if you have a degree and other certifications or qualifications that show you've done work and were able to report to people and stay on schedule, and you've been able to complete programs and stuff like that. So a degree will help you regardless if you go for the exact field of that study. If you're a police officer and you have a sociology degree, you don't need the sociology degree to be a police officer, but you can still benefit in your job by having the sociology degree.
That's a deceiving statistic. I wrote a whole book on this. It's very deceiving. Let me tell you why. Because you're taking the top.
Oh, I'm going to go write a book on something so I can make sure no one else can ever argue with me. I wrote a book on this, bro. I cannot be wrong.
Income earners of doctors and lawyers and engineers.
I wrote a book
and it
on
brings the average up even more. When in reality, you look at people who study the humanities. You have a big humanities school at UC Riverside. They will, on average, earn maybe 50 or 60,000 a year. Secondly,
even liberal arts graduates earn 15 to 40,000 more than high school graduates.
Incorrect. That's old data.
That's correct.
How many here?
That's correct.
How many people here would be thrilled earning $70,000 a year right now?
That's higher than the average.
Wrong. According to the Wall Street Journal, hundreds of thousands of high school juniors getting $70,000 a year job offers for not going to college to become plumbers, welders, and electricians. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to get student loan debt. I let you talk. Let me talk. So
that has nothing to do with college being a scam or not, though. Because not everyone wants to be a plumber, okay? Great on plumbers, all right? Not every plumber wants to be working in an office. I know plumbers and electricians that would probably not last very long in an office, just like they would not be alive anymore because they would hate being in an office 24/7. They would hate being stuck in a cubicle or doing pronoun creation work like I do in a lab. I work in a pronoun lab. We just make pronouns all day. They don't want to do that, and not everyone wants to be a plumber.
They don't have to go into debt. They don't have to get.
A lot of people would rather make $50K a year, for example, $50K with good benefits and not have to destroy your body for work. And many parents of kids would agree, like, hey, don't do my job. You don't need to be a welder if you don't want to be a welder because it killed my knees and now I can't walk that well. And I'm only 50. So some people don't want to work in those jobs either. But I would never say trade school is a scam or demean those individuals who do those jobs. But Charlie Kirk will demean the college people.
Get any degree. I'm sure almost everyone in this audience would be like, boy, I would kill to earn 70 grand a year. And yet how many people in this audience were told a fair hearing, hey, you don't need to go to 4-year college. You could earn 70 grand as a high school junior to become a welder.
Charlie,
that is not a truth.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that on average, the college graduates earn about 30% higher than trade school graduates. And
well, yeah, that could be distorted by outliers. So if you do median, it'll help. But on average, more people that go to college are wealthy. They have connections, so that number will be skewed in total earnings, most likely. Someone said, sociology, fake science, global warming, feminist BS. That's a big issue with people in college. They just don't believe any of the facts of it. So, like, if you don't believe in facts, then you don't believe in college. This college turned my kid into a liberal snowflake. I don't know what they teach there. At least sociology or plumbers at least produce, unlike sociology. Bro, you would cry talking about sociology. I mean, plumbing's probably good for you because you would cry talking about pronouns, for example. Your whole life is destructed by pronouns. And your social engagements with your peers and society at large. Sociologists and psychologists study a lot of, and socioeconomics as well, that we do a lot of things that make society run. It's like a coach to a football team or a coach to a basketball team. You're designing like the playbook for how things can run more efficiently.
And again, I agree. There's alternatives. College is not for everyone. I totally agree with you. People could go to trade school. They could start a business. But everything comes with risk. We got to look at what is college promising the students. College is promising access to resources, and it provides
Incorrect. College is...
Well, that's it's fair as well to say, like, electives, for example, you can have reform on different campuses where the electives you take are more complementary to your discipline. So have electives that are directly complementary, or at least have electives that the interdisciplinary approach can be done to actually complement your major, like I was saying.
Just implicitly and explicitly through their website and their promotional material tell parents that if you come here, you will have a better life. Instead, that is the sales pitch. I guarantee you, if someone
Please show me one website. I've looked all over the place. I haven't seen a single university that guarantees success or happiness.
Yeah, I don't know what college guarantees success and says you will have a better life guaranteed if you go to this college. That's not a thing.
Hold on a second.
They promise resources.
I just said implicitly and explicitly. Almost every
implicitly and explicitly. Therefore, they cannot say it, but you can say they actually say it by what they say. You implicitly said that.
Single college has on their website, preparing leaders for a better tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy. Colleges want to market themselves. That's crazy that private institutions want to market themselves. Wow, dude. Why would a college make it appear on their website as if their students are successful? Why would a college in a market-driven culture and system, why would a college ever make it seem like they do a good job? Holy crap. They are selling a false vision.
Preparing leaders for an ever-changing world. And if you go through that, they have all these deceiving statistics that if you come to this college for 4 years, allow me to finish talking, okay? Again, for 4 years, yep, someone, we're going to keep going, don't stare. We tried to warn about that. Get them some water too. Yeah, and you get a signed hat. Don't faint just for the signed hat. Of course, I acknowledge that some college graduates do better. That window is increasingly closing. Now, let me ask you another argument that you might not be prepared for. Almost everybody in this audience is studying something that will be irrelevant because of artificial intelligence. Do you think at this school, every single course and every degree is really prepared for the AI revolution that is coming next?
Okay, this is probably the strongest argument in favor of college. We do not want society ran by artificial intelligence and corporations and CEOs who control that AI. Meanwhile, the public and the citizenry have zero capability and zero intelligent, intense, complicated engagement with any of these disciplines. Do you understand how that could be a problem? If we tell Americans, do not go to college, do not be educated, we can trust AI for all of this. And who controls the AI? Who controls all the information? Who controls the entire system? Part of this is about freedom and control. The fact Charlie Kirk is saying you should not go to college to understand any of this because AI is going to do that job. I want human beings to do these jobs, okay? AI should be like a calculator. AI should be complementary. We do not want a society, I promise you. I watch a lot of movies about mass surveillance and what happens when we allow the AI tech overlords to take over society. There are so many dystopian sci-fi, real life now, I guess, biographical, but like real life sci-fi movies that are coming true right now. And we do not want people to be unprepared to the point where we are dumb and we cannot speak and the robots control us. We want people to be able to fend for themselves in the information age, in the marketplace of ideas and all this stuff. It's insane to say we're gonna trade our human free will, all right, our autonomy as humans, to be controlled 100% with all information, with all management, with all CEOs. We're gonna be controlled by the AI overlords. Are you kidding me? That's the best argument I heard for going to college, and why there's a social benefit to it when it comes to freedom.
Now let me ask you a question.
You have to answer mine.
What are your
For the AI revolution that is coming next.
Now let me ask you a question.
You have to answer mine.
What are your alternatives?
Oh, I have plenty. So
Yeah.
actually, there's 11 million job openings right now that pay you more than $75,000 a year.
Someone said Charlie Kirk is saying something else. I'm misrepresenting him. You realize that the people who fund Charlie Kirk, Peter Thiel, David Balzac, Elon Musk, you realize they have books about how they want the future to be exactly that. One class that's uneducated and doesn't understand anything. One tech overlord class, all right? The rich and the poor, and then the middleman to control the entire society, the big brother, is going to be AI. That's what all these rich tech guys want to do. And that's why right now with Doge, they're taking away the government's ability to protect our freedom of our information and privacy rights. They just rolled that back this week about our privacy rights. Just because you don't do research and you're stupid and you're going to be walked into the volcano to die along with your fellow cult members doesn't mean we need to agree with your dumbass opinion.
That don't require a college degree. Right now,
But did you know
11
that
million.
95%, over 95% of U.S. employers still require a college degree from mid to high roles? And about 40%
I understand
require
that. That's
just
actually,
to get in.
again, you didn't even answer my question. You're dodging it. But that number's coming down. Secondly, 11 million jobs that pay more than $75,000 a year that don't require a college degree. My alternative also is this. If you want to get something specialized, of course go to college. The vast majority of kids that go to college are studying the humanities, soft social sciences, psychology, or communications. They're not studying to become engineers or doctors or nurses, all of which...
Psychology and communications. Why would psychology and communications matter in a area in a time where isolation, social isolation, like sociology? Think about sociology, psychology, and communications, and how that intersects in the social media age. Studying those three disciplines together is probably the biggest test of our time when it comes to our mental health and our ability to come together as communities in this age of AI and fake news and social media, and no one is in our communities anymore talking to each other. Those disciplines that Charlie Kirk wants to kill are what makes us human. People understanding those things and working on those things is what makes us human. We're gonna all become robots if we follow this Charlie Kirk blueprint.
Which I totally understand. And what you're basically saying, your argument, which is true, but it's fraudulent, come here to get a piece of paper because once you get the piece of paper, then you'll get a job.
That's not true. No one is promising that. College promises access to resources. Access to preparation to leadership doesn't mean guarantee.
Again,
it only gives access.
That is very true what he's saying. Is there an idea where someone says, like a parent thinks if I send my kid to school, they're guaranteed success? That does seem like an entitlement issue with America, though. Like, you can't just expect every single route to lead to success. The issue is, if you work hard in college, are you going to get to where you want to get to? Or if you're like good at what you do or whatever else. But like, the idea that you go to college with the idea of I'm going to be guaranteed success. I mean, if that's your mentality, you should not go to college because you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed that stuff. The rich kids are, but a normal person is really not.
Says you are the one responsible. I think it should be merit-based, and people should take accountability for their actions. If they come to college and be lazy, don't take classes, they are gonna achieve nothing.
Do they have job preparedness at this school?
Yes, there is a career guidance center. I went to it.
Hold on, wait. They have a whole center about career preparedness, so they're selling career preparedness.
Yes, and you gotta go and access it yourself.
Point. Wait, hold on. So they're selling.
Time
out. You keep interrupting me, man. Again, do they teach you to interrupt in college this much? It's like, you gotta let the other person talk, okay?
Let me be honest, I respect you, but no one interrupts more than you.
At career preparedness centers are implicitly and explicitly telling you you're getting something of value. And again, half the people in this audience, if they get a job, they'll get a job that doesn't require a college degree. They'll be...
You cannot win that discussion. So if you're a college, and Charlie Kirk knows this, if you're a college and you make a center for career services, which are very helpful, by the way, extremely helpful in finding a job after college, then they're just selling the idea of getting a job. And if they don't have that, then hey, look, they don't even want to help you get a job. So either way, it's going to be defeated regardless.
Burdened with debt. It's 4 years of wasted time, talent, and treasure. And finally, and most importantly, almost every one of your careers will be rendered obsolete by AI in the next 10 years.
Hold on, are you denying the data that 1.2 million?
If all of those, if everything's rendered dead by AI, then we need to be having people who are still in these positions to make sure that AI is done ethically. It's whatever. I don't care. It's whatever. We are toast. Cool. All right, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart my stream and take some phone calls. I saw some people calling during that. I'm gonna restart all my streams. So if you're watching my stream, reset my page, refresh my page. Drop a like, subscribe. I'm going to start it up right away. Refresh my page. I'll see you in 1 second. Okay? Refresh my page. I'll be right back. Refresh it, refresh it.